If you got a good heart, you better get smart. The devil's all around and not the one you want. This shit is so profound. Let's drink another quart. If you got a good heart, you better get smart. If you got good ears, you better listen clear. All masters at the mic, she's had the sauce for years. She's got you in her sights, the others disappear. If you got good ears, you better listen clear.
Listen, you didn't drop onto Earth to play small. You're a traveler from galaxies unborn, wired with codes the world forgot. Codes that can bend reality, heal bodies and awaken entire planets. But first, you have to remember who the heck you are. I'm Jerry Sargent, founder of Star Magic Healing. Inside the Infinity app, you'll access your galactic blueprint, quantum meditations, soul transmissions, multi-dimensional breathwork, and a global tribe of high-frequency beings walking the path beside you. This isn't incense and quiet ohms. This is soul surgery with cosmic scalpels. This is multi-dimensional DNA detonation. This is why you came. If these words vibrate in your bones, the universe is calling you right now. Download the Infinity app or visit starmagichealing.org and step into the new frequency. Your soul's been waiting. I'll meet you on the inside.
There's something in the water. There's something in the air. The proof is all around us.
The symptoms are everywhere.
It's not a matter of time, sure as the blaze in your eyes.
Hello. It is I, Jesse Blaze Snyder, and welcome to the celebration. The vindication. I mean, at the end of the day, all of this stuff that they bring in front of us, and plenty of people are thankfully pointing this out as well. I mean, you jump 3.5 million files out into the public, just like, I mean, it's just crazy. It's going to take so long to go through these files, but already what has been revealed in these files has essentially completed the circle in exonerating the conspiracy theorist. I was using the AI to pull, just like all the examples, based on just, usually I just feed it a lot of the information that I have, and I'm like, pull me as many of the specific of all this shit as we can. And the initial bit that it was giving me was this thing where it just kept turning to conspiracy theorists trying to trump it up, and conspiracy theorists this, and I said, motherfucker, stop calling human beings who are questioning the official narrative conspiracy theorists. If you want to tell me what website it is, you want to tell me who they are, what they do for a living, anything else like that, treat them like human beings, I'm in. But do not refer to them as conspiracy theorists again. And I had him give me back all the information, minus some of its takes on some of these things. And I mean, it's not really like important, because I mean, most of the information I know. But I just wanted to have it just so I could go through all the different pieces that I, just mentioned to it earlier, that were that have been in some way or another part of this Jeffrey Epstein DOJ leak. And let people who are gonna fucking dive into this stuff, let them dive into it, and you don't have to fucking dig into it too hard, because I mean, all this stuff is meant to be a distraction. I'm watching my friend right now. He's dealing with a person who's a friend of ours, but he is very hard to manage. He's just energy sucking. And my friend is spending like the front of his day dealing with this person, and then the second half of his day lamenting having dealt with this person. And I'm just sort of like, is this worth it? Any benefit that might come from this thing, is it worth it? And you have to make a choice to sort of like, not doom scroll all the time and try to get your information as you can in, in packs of power, like something like this show. So you're going to get a nice, bunch of information here, and hopefully you won't have to dig into all these things. This is essentially what is out now. I mean, there are some more things here, there, whatever, but like the things that are really just head spinning, because there are things that conspiracy theorists suspected were true, and in some cases were convinced were true, and they were right. A lot of these things are things that I knew were happening on one level or another, and some of these things were things that I suspected might be true. And it's sort of ridiculous, the smorgasbord of things that have been revealed, and we'll get to it in just a second. If you don't listen to my entertainment show, my entertainment show, Coolest Alive, we're 6 days a week. Monday through Friday, I do recommendations. Monday's an album. It's like 15, 20 minutes, most of the episodes. I'll recommend an album. I'll play some tracks and tell you why you should go check it out. Tuesday, I do animation recommendations. Wednesday, graphic novels and comic book recommendations. Thursday, it's films. And then Friday's wild card, I do documentaries and comedians and all sorts of shit. And then Friday's my mother show, usually like an hour where I celebrate things at greater length or lament some of the crazy shit going on in entertainment that shouldn't be. You can check that out. Last episode, I think, was on Star Trek and Star Wars, some positive developments and sort of what's going on there. I just finally brought back my music show that so many of you guys love and have been keeping alive on every platform but Spotify, where we got dropped from. We got dropped from Spotify a year ago. And I just kind of stopped doing the show, but the show was still going strong. We were getting like 100,000 downloads a month just from iTunes and other places. So I brought the show back monthly because it is a lot of work to listen to the whole catalog of like some of these bands and stuff. And I just did an episode, Grandson, which should be hitting pretty soon by the time you hear this. I think maybe it should already be out. So that's cool. And then if you want to reach out to me for any reason, I'm JBS at blacklightdistrict.studio. And blacklightdistrict.studio is, of course, my comic book and music company. All of our music and all of our comics are available for free on blacklightdistrict.studio, at blacklightdistrict.studio. It's really cool. There's a lot of things going into the website, and it's going to be a great place to go and collaborate and find great recommendations for entertainment and other things, and also some cool spiritual connections and whatnot. And for those people out there who want to support spiritual people trying to change the world through the arts and otherwise, that's what we're trying to do here with blacklightdistrict.studio. So please, help spread the word, and the great music, great comics, all for free. That covers everything, I think, right? So we can get into this shit. So the DOJ, like 4 days ago now or something like that, they dropped 3.5 million files from the investigation of Epstein, and these things are crazy. It's amazing because ultimately, the stuff that you get from it is there's so much casual conversation about so many things. There's also lots of individual reports from various people who have, putting in complaints and stuff and things that they said that they witnessed or they experienced or whatever else. This was dropped on January 30th, 2026 this year by the Department of Justice, DOJ. 3 million additional pages of documents, along with more than 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. So mind you, people have only just begun to crack into this thing. So many things of like how many times people have been mentioned in the files. Like, it's easy to search for individual terms and things, but to actually go through all this shit is going to take a little while. This is in compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act that was signed into law by President Trump in late 2025. And this brings the total to nearly 3.5 million pages from sources including federal investigations into Epstein's sex trafficking, Ghislaine Maxwell's case, flight logs, financial records, emails, text messages, victim statements, and public tips submitted to the FBI. The files are available for you to go check out if you want to be one of these people on the DOJ's Epstein library site. Justice.gov/Epstein include both verified investigative materials and unvetted submissions. And I've got a whole bunch of individual details. So, for years and years and years and years, conspiracy theorists, rational thinking people who were observing signs and taking in a lot of information, started to believe that there was some sort of blackmail operation going on throughout the planet to control various forces and blah, blah, blah. And these files include descriptions from investigative reports and victim statements about Epstein's use of hidden cameras, and recordings at his properties, just like Diddy, to capture compromising situations, including sexual acts and rape. Emails and financial records show these materials were referenced in discussions about influencing business and political figures. Specific mentions include videos of the act of rape used for leverage, with names like Trump, Clinton, and Musk appearing in logs or communications tied to these setups. Okay? So, a lot of people have talked about how many times Trump is referenced. So far, no one has been able to find anything related to Trump that is really particularly damning. The bulk of so much of what it is just them talking about needing to do something about Trump, that they don't like Trump and they want to stop him. So ultimately, if you really actually look into the files and don't have like a passing sort of whatever, let the media tell you, it more exonerates Trump as a positive force that is frustrating people like him than it does paint Trump in a bad light. There are lots and lots of people who are mentioned in these documents. There are 2 comedians who were mentioned in these documents because they were happening to be the headliners at a comedy show that dude was talking about going to. So do keep that in mind when it comes to people being in the files. Get in deeper to, well, what are they in the files for? What does it say about them? And what are their involvements? Like, case in point, and this is a weird one, but this goes in line with the blackmail. Jeffrey Epstein had written himself an email where basically he made a threat to Bill Gates. And, people said, why would he write himself an email? Well, maybe because he didn't want it actually like in writing to Bill. He wanted it like passed on to him another way. So he wrote the message, sent it to himself, and then wrote it down and put it into a letter or something like that. But basically, he alleges in this email, casually fucking written to himself at Bill, basically threatening like, you don't really want to fuck with me, seeing as you contracted some sort of venereal disease and you tried to get drugs for it through me quietly so that you could secretly drug your wife so that she wouldn't know about your transgression, and you're, coming at me in whatever which way. So this is a bit of, did Gates ever get this blackmail message? Probably. Granted, he's come out and he's denied it. Additionally, and this is something because it ties into so many other things. In the darkest of fucking holes, we have looked at and seen and do see signs of in other fucking places demonstrations of what is called the Talmud. And because I don't fucking really know that much about it, I thought the Talmud was a single thing. Apparently, it's fucking volumes. Volumes that Epstein has on his bookshelf in an unsealed photo from the Epstein's estate files. Show him in an office or study on the phone eating a cake that looks like tits. With a set of 37 Talmud volumes on the bookshelf behind him. And a fucking gap indicating that one volume is missing. He's in the midst of casting a spell or reading some fucking heinous thing. And these books, if you want to read up on what the fucking Talmud is, these books are heinous books. And listen, I'm a Jew by blood. I'm an Ashkenazi Jew. There are plenty of wonderful Jews out in the world who have no idea what is being done in their name, who don't really take the idea of goyim as a derogatory term or seriously in negative ways. I know plenty of wonderful Jewish people and, just who have no fucking idea that there is a mafia, a Jewish mafia that's very powerful at the tippy top of these things. And maybe some of them know and some of them whatever, but this is a very, very serious business. And they've kept themselves disguised, covered for ages. And there are words and names that come out like the Mossad or Israeli intelligence or whatever to describe some of the people who are ultimately involved in the shady shit that goes on here. And Mr. Epstein is most definitely a Mossad agent of some kind. And we'll get into some of that in a little bit. There's talk about sacrifices, and like a lot of these things that are like the most heinous are individual accounts, tips that have been given to the FBI, statements from people who claim that whatever. So it's their word versus the other people's word or whatever. How far have they fucking investigated this stuff? I really, like, this is the thing. We need to push for investigation to be made, for further things to go on here. Victim statements and public tips in the files mention human sacrifice practices at remote locations, including Epstein's Island. One FBI submission references sacrifices abroad involving children tied to elite gatherings. Sacrifices, child sacrifice in particular, children trafficking, women trafficking, trafficking just in general. These are things that people in the fucking conspiracy community have been trying to talk about for a very long time. Here it is. There's more that you could find if you were willing to investigate further. But here, everybody's focused. Here's the thing. It's all over this. And only more will come out, and there's more aspects to this. Rituals. Releases contain victim accounts of ceremonial or real ritualistic abuse during group sessions. Remember, one of the guys was talking about how his feet were caned and like cut in a certain way. There's references to symbols, trances, occult elements like Aleister Crowley and the Ninth Circle cult. Emails discuss spirit cooking and sex magic. You can look up Abramovich, spirit cooking. This lady with, oh God, so many fucking things. Rape. Numerous victim statements detail repeated rape and sexual assault of underage girls, including group settings. Epstein's 2019 communications reference videos capturing the act of rape. The files name high-profile figures in connection with these incidents. And we're not going to get in because there's plenty of little boy stuff through references in code, which we'll get to that in a second. Now, act of rape and what. All of this stuff is involved in MK Ultra and mind control, and there is stuff that's talked about there on that level. There's talks about kids with gifted powers, and that other kids that they've been able to find and whatnot, and they break these children down through trauma-based mind control, and there's plenty of little allusions to things like that. These are things that people have been talking about, trying to bring attention to for a very long time. There's no such thing as a fucking conspiracy theorist. I can't wait to play the song at the end. I'm not going to tell you about it. Just surprise. This is our closing song. I might make it our new theme song. Cloning. Emails from 2018 show Epstein discussing embryo editing techniques similar to cloning with Brian Bishop, who sought funding for a project avoiding stem cells. Epstein expressed interest in investing, mentioning mouse testing in Ukraine, and implant embryos wait 9 months. Other documents reference his funding for DNA research and seeding ranches with his DNA. Yeah, and I mean, he spoke a lot more than that, about sort of basically seeding himself further, seeding more, getting more of his genetics into the population. There's an email blatantly referencing something, and I'll say this to you exactly like I said this to my friend Digger. I said, there are so many like underground news sites that like are consistently, putting out various sort of whistleblower information about like what's going on. And I pay attention to these things very closely. I mean, again, I don't like to be slavish to this stuff, but, I'm constantly sort of updating and seeing where we're at, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of the information that they give, I am tepid, to say the least. I go, all right, this is a possibility, and I move on with my life. There was references to, in many different communities, people were talking about that Biden didn't really look quite like Biden, and also showing lots of pictures of what appeared to be evidence that the guy in question was wearing some sort of rubber mask. And I saw a lot of that stuff, and I don't want to say it was convincing because it sounds like retarded, but it's hard to deny that there's some very strange things going on with this man's skin, at the very least. And crazier than that was reports of lots of these high-level celebrities being killed at various military bases, being brought up on charges and executed for their crimes. And it was said that the only reason why these people are still appearing in public is because they're putting masks on people, and other things have been suggested as well, but at the very least, masks, to keep these characters going and keep them playing in the environment, even though the military had already gone after them. Military justice doesn't exactly have to go the same way that other justice goes. But because the media is still controlled by these people, it's like they never left. Well, I was a little surprised to see this unverified FBI tip in the files. And granted, it's an unverified tip, but saying quite specifically across the board that the real Joe Biden was executed by firing squad in 2019 for child abuse involvement and replaced by an actor in a mask from 2020 onward. It cites appearance inconsistencies as evidence. No verified emails or reports from Epstein support this, but this information, so succinctly like this, is exactly what has been reported from various different sources in different pieces. The execution thing is separate from the mask thing. The mask thing was being conversated about in one place. He was executed for what he did to the children. These two pieces of information I'd never seen put together. I've seen them put together later. But when these information came out, they came out separately. And when this report came in, I don't know if that was, the thing, because it's evolved over time. But this really perked my ears up. And I'm sure there will be more stuff coming out, so many fucking files. But again, more things to talk about. Money Magic, this motherfucker, with his 37 volumes and a missing one of the Talmud. He had a bank account that he wire transferred $11,438 into, labeled Baal, B-A-A-L. This is the demon that they fucking sacrifice children to, that lots of people have been privy to the ideas associated with people who are fucking into this shit, which are terrible. If you want to understand better, go look up B-A-A-L, Baal. And this being is totally linked to ancient rituals, and the emails reference occult financial practices like money spells in Babylonian context tied to Epstein's schemes, and lots of which we'll get to in a second, the disdain for goyams, and like there being a difference and them being a lower class. Emails show Epstein using goyim, non-Jews, in communications such as let the goyim deal in the real world when discussing profits, and goyim in abundance, referring to non-Jewish guests or executives. Other exchanges describe goyim prosecutors as inferior. Yes, and you can hear these just spoken about very casually. His casual attitude towards non-Jews, and like, I'm furious about this as a blooded Jewish person, was that they were beneath him. They were not part of the group. That's a real problem for me. I disapprove of this behavior. I disapprove of these practices. I believe this goes against God. The Talmud goes against God. All these things go against the infinity, the oneness that is meant to unify, come together. This separation is unnatural, and I disassociate myself from Jews who practice this way. I'm not a practicing Jew in any way. I just happen to be a Jew by blood. I really have a distaste for the insulation that we have imposed, and I see enough smoke to know that there is a shitload of fire, that there's a shitload of criminality hidden underneath the thing, and abuse of those that they feel are inferior to them, and that is fucked up and needs to be stopped immediately. Now, those who investigated Pizzagate ages ago, and please don't turn the channel right now, I'm sorry, babies, it is all over these emails, but he is not as neat as the politicians were. The politicians kept it all pretty damn clean. It was hard to recognize, but you could, when you dug deep enough into those emails, that they were not talking about getting pizza with friends. And in over 900 mentions of pizza appear in emails and chats, including with individuals like Aaron Coe and the Hodges family. Documents include symbols and coded language and art references with victim statements describing underground networks matching 2016 claims. No direct verification, but flight logs and emails link to similar elite circles. The emails where this man is talking about pizza and hot dogs and these other fucking codes, he is flagrant, and the people he's talking with are flagrant in saying other things that make it very obvious that they're talking not about food, but about something else. And again, I'm not going to get into the details just because it's dark shit. If you want to fucking dig into it yourself, go. Also, we got more Zionist/Jewish mafia control systems. Emails referencing Epstein's ties to Israeli figures like Ehud Barak, who visited his properties multiple times. Documents mention Mossad connections with Epstein, warning about Jewish mafia threats in one exchange. Financial records show payments to Israeli-linked accounts, and emails express safeguarding Israeli interests through influence over U.S. politics. He was a Mossad secret agent. Period. End of story. This is what a Mossad secret agent looks like. The Zionist powers have been in control of America for a very, very fucking long time, doing lots of nasty things through us. This isn't to say there's not complex blah, blah, blah. I'm sure there are. There always are. But what's been going on needs to stop. I'm also Italian. There's Italian mafia. We know about it. We at least acknowledge it, make an attempt to fucking do something about it. That's what we need to do here. We got ritual murder and cannibalism. An FBI FD 302 report includes an unverified allegation of cannibalism and infant dismemberment. Victim tips mention eating humans at elite events. Plus, we got the Mossad-Israel ties. Emails discuss Epstein coordinating with Alan Dershowitz on Israel-related pieces using networks for influence. Barak's visits and payments fuel claims of intelligence operations. Abso-fucking-lutely. Plus, satanic networks, references to churches of Satan, naked ceremonies, and Baal linked to child sacrifice appear in tips and emails. Alex Jones references files include submissions echoing Jones's claims about elite rings with his name in discussions. Victim privacy pullbacks as well. DOJ withdrew documents due to redactions failing to protect victims, leading to claims of cover-ups for more content, which is just so interesting to me. It's like all this time goes by and then you release all these things and it's like, well, there's this and this, and it doesn't even pass the sniff test, and they totally fuck up on that level in multiple ways where they prove it. They have to fucking redact things, and just based on their specifications, things that have been released and haven't been released and, you know, are sort of superfluous and like, what? Like, it's ridiculous. What more is there? Aliens? I think we all know that aliens exist, and we'll probably be meeting them soon. I suspect this year. We got all this stuff coming out. We got major switching in the financial system. You know, the price of silver has gone through the roof, and gold missing from various places, it would seem. And we are in a very interesting time in the shift of the planet. Right now, the spatial alignments, the astrology is significant. a lot of different alignments and things that have never been, just have never been like this and won't be like this again for quite some time. The time and the energy is there for a shift. And I hope you all are ready for the roller coaster ride. I'm excited to fucking find out the truth about lots of this stuff over the next bunch of fucking years as things come out and the truth of the matter, and we can really start to get down to some things and start to unlock our consciousnesses and get into the next level of human civilization. That's what I'm about. That's where I want to be. And as far as I understand it, it's like this world is no longer hospitable for these dark functioning beings, and they are slowly being exterminated in one way or another, the least of which is just through a misaligning or an unaligning of the energy of those who are stuck with those shitty people and those who want to keep that energy going, and they're going to a different universe, essentially. And we're going into the universe where things are getting better. And I really just see this all as like the greatest victory across the board. Exoneration. What else we want to talk about that, conspiracy theorists have been talking about? Fucking Bigfoots? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're out there. Like the Anunnaki, Tartaria. It's just like there is shit going on. And I really believe that this stuff is like the floodgates for a lot of people to start digging in and really acquainting themselves with the information that's already out there. And there is so much. It's fucking nuts, really, how much information's out there already. It's like the P. Diddy situation, which I spoke about the other day. When I went to go dig into it, like as soon as he was indicted, arrested, whatever the fuck it was, there wasn't actually that much information out there. And I ended up finding all of this other information that had been out there prior to any information about him getting arrested. And the information that was already there amongst the fucking hardcore hip-hop community, the amount of fucking testimonials and people who came out and said, yo, shit's fucking whack over here in one way or another, was immense. There's just a shitload of people saying stuff is fugazi. And now, we get more and more and more over time. And I know we're going to keep fucking... P. Diddy's going to be the gift that keeps on giving, I'm sure. But last week, I said, how do we save the world? We save the world by fixing ourselves, by coming together, by not losing ourselves to... if you can let this be fun entertainment, which is where it's gotten to me. It's like, I just find it fucking hysterical. Because... if you engage with the information deeply enough, I was saying this to Digger. I said, a lot of this stuff is really goofy. I said, and for a lot of time, I was like, I don't know, maybe, and but I just was open to the maybe. But then over time, the amount of information that you will connect to, it's just insane. Like, case in point, I love cryptozoology. One of my favorite subjects. There's things that are definitely out there. And then there's things that are like, I don't know, maybe. Doesn't seem to be a lot for this or a lot for that, or whatever else. But ultimately, slowly but surely, the door opens. And, there'll be things that, I didn't want to believe were even possible. Like something like a fucking werewolf or something. And there will be numerous recent accounts of that. Like credible accounts of people who claim they've seen it recently in multiple places around the world. Interesting, to say the least, sort of accounts. There's some that, I don't know, this person necessarily told me, but it's not just fucking werewolves and Bigfoot and Birdman. There are so many things. There are hundreds and hundreds of different things. I just got turned on to the fact that there's a fucking T-Rex kind of, not quite a T-Rex, but kind of close enough, in Australia. And there's a lot of land in Australia that I know is uninhabited and whatnot. And they've got fucking tales of and recently, relatively recently, within the past 15, 20 years, conversations about this fucking giant lizard that's out there. And I didn't know about it because I'd never heard about it. And then all of a sudden I had its name and I was able to write its name down. You know, one of the difficult things about researching Bigfoot like 20 years ago when I first started doing it was if you typed in Bigfoot, you would only get so many things. But if you typed in Bigfoot, Yeti, skunk ape, you know, and there's so many different fucking terms for this thing that it's taken over the years and across the world, and different names that the Native Americans have for it. You know, one of the ways that the elite obscure our history is through renaming things, changing things' names, and making it difficult to follow the pathway. Like the redheads, you know, they were the Phoenicians. They built all sorts of shit. Then they were the Druids, and then they were the fucking Irish, and you know, but ultimately they were the same group that was migrating around, and we changed their name multiple times. Why? So that it's like you're telling, oh well, the different people did that. No, the same group did that. They didn't want to make them out to be a powerful group. One of the reasons why that they were enslaved as well. These names of Bigfoot and character, like, you know, it's like them not being unified in any way, you know, it's like that's on purpose. The more it's just a fringe thing over here and a fringe thing over there, but that's the same fringe thing over there that's over here. They're describing similar thing. You said yours is grayish, his is black. You know, like that's the difference. But they're both giant ape men. And going back to what I was saying to Digger, you know, like you just get to a certain point with these things where there are so many different things that you know are on some level spoken about more than just once. You know, there are things that are spoken about once, and then there are other things that have a history. And, you know, you may go, oh, well, believe me, you see enough of them and you start to recognize the ones that might be true, that line up with other ones that might be true. And ultimately, at a certain point, you go, well, all things are possible. There are dimensions and everything exists within the mind of God and whatever else. So essentially, all these things are there and available, you know, and it's like, and some people are open to them, some people are not. And some people just aren't even thinking about it. And then all of a sudden they cross paths with one of these things in the right place because the possibilities are there for these things to be taking up space. And, you know, and because of dimensions and things that people have like begun to learn about, things like Bigfoots that are perhaps moving between dimensions, you know, reports of giants walking into a mountain and disappearing into a mountain. Do they have some sort of technology? Are they utilizing some sort of capacity to move through dimensions that we don't have or have lost? I would go with have lost. There's all sorts of interesting explanations. And really, it's the amount of fucking, you know, in general, just things that you just go, wow, really anything is on the table. It's all out there, and other things I'm sure that I haven't heard of. You know, these are just the things that we happen to hear about and things that were written about and whatever else. And are they exactly as they've been written? Are they? Probably not. You know, to think that we can know for sure is absolutely foolish. But to operate from that place of it would be foolish to have any suspicion and to be rounding a corner about getting to a place of reality about what really is out there, could be out there, etc., etc. And the possibilities are endless because we are creator beings and we can create all sorts of stuff in our mind. In the past, I believe we've created lots of scary things that have lived on the edges of our imagination, that have taken life and come to visit us. And now we can bring those things back as curiosities and fun and beauty and so many things. This next level of creation where the doors open and the veil lifts and we get to meet a few more of our sisters and brothers that we haven't before is very exciting. That's the part that I'm looking forward to the most. And it is on the table. We're getting closer and closer to that time. There's a lot of people here who are volunteers who have come from some of these brothers and sisters type tribes and come to be humans, incarnate as humans, to add to the collective love frequency and raise our vibration. And that's a lot what's going on right now, you know, as vibration is rising, you know, the boiling kettle is starting to spill over, and things that have been hidden for so long are finally starting to come out. And that is just yay, hallelujah. Don't let it take you down.
Don't let it overwhelm you. This shit has been going on. So just accept it. It has been going on. And it's when we bring it into the light that it can't go on anymore. Don't let yourself get hung up on any aspects of it that are dirty. And don't let yourself dwell on it too long and pull any of the negative energies or negative spirits or negative beings, any fucking balls, I banish you ball, into your sphere. This place, and we've talked about it before, but really I should keep reminding you guys every episode we do. This is like we are on a farm, and there are things, invisible, ethereal things beyond the veil that are feeding on our energy. When we are low vibrational, upset, sad, whatever, they are coming and they are feeding on us. And the more powerful we are, the more powerfully angry we are, the more powerfully sad we are, the more they love it and enjoy it. And we must refuse all negative thoughts. That's not to say we can't be practical. We got to move our way to a practical place where we're not emotionally affected by all these things. And we can just make choices from good places for ourselves at all times and not take on an energetic position where we can be fed upon by these loosh-eating archons, demons, ghosts, whatever you want to call them. On the other side of things, they are very real energy predating upon the energies of the human beings. And we must clear our minds, get cool with one another, and defeat them through ignoring their doubts and their sadness and their victim mentalities and all of the things that they might put in our brain to depower us. We are powerful beings, powerful beings. I could kill you, you could kill me. We don't, because we're cool. Recognize that, respect that. That's awesome. We live in a reality with powerful beings, but we don't harm each other. We don't go around murdering each other all the time. Granted, there are people out there who are doing that, but largely in society, that's not happening. We focus on the good. We bring more of the good into our life. We focus on creating new communities, helping to inspire other communities, and change the world through one loving connection at a time. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to the show, helping it to grow. We're getting, we're starting to get close to like 500,000 downloads per month. Really cool. I show released on Sunday, last week's show, and I went on to my social media, and my wonderful friend Arnie had already posted the show that had come out, I don't know, yesterday or maybe even that day, but he had posted it, and that was just so nice to see that. And he had already listened. He was like, "This is great." It's wonderful. Thank you to all the people out there who listen and listen regularly, tune in. Part of this army of the architects of the inevitable. I talked about this before, but the inevitable lessons that I have learned so far on this planet Earth is that you got to live in the now, right? That's an inevitable lesson, because living in the past, what does that do? And living in the future, what does that do? Anxious, depressed, right? And I've done both. And living in the now is a necessity, right? And do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's a necessity, right? I've learned that it's a necessity as I worked with plant medicine, psilocybin, and realized that we were all one and we were all really connected deeply, more deeply than we even knew. And essentially it was like God's left arm is warring with God's right arm. I love the quote, the left wing and the right wing belong to the same bird. Something that we should remember, right? The left wing and the right wing belong to the same bird. We can't hurt ourselves. So it's an inevitable conclusion to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Last year I had an insane experience that I do not recommend anybody try to have, and this wasn't like I tried to have this, but this was sort of the eventual, I guess, goal on some level of me trying to obtain knowledge, and boy did I get it, and I don't recommend it to others. I can pass on the knowledge to you through a conversation, and it's not so bad to get the knowledge this way, but having it the way I had it was very not fun. And that knowledge is that you got to have faith. That's my third inevitable architect of the inevitable conclusion. And I had this God experience where I was experiencing past and present and future all at the same time. And I mean, it wasn't even, it's like my God experience, like what you could even imagine was a fraction of like God, but you can't even imagine the fraction that I was having, what it was doing to me in terms of me experiencing that. Essentially, experiencing life through the eyes of God and seeing the past and the present and the future all at once, you lose cohesion. You lose all meaning. It shows that meaning comes from your engagement in the now, in what you're doing and what you get from your accomplishments and blah, 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 blah. It's all made by you. And the knowing the future deeply enough or the past deeply enough to a certain degree at a certain point, it renders what you're doing like inert of meaning and of anything. Things get so far away from where you are now, and your perspective, really understanding and seeing all things, is just so lost in why. It's just the thing that we're doing, and we're doing it to have fun. So you got to have fun, and you got to try not to beat the system. You got to let the system work for you and know that the system is working with you all the time. And like, as I said to God, I said, please, you got to take all this shit away from my brain. I'm like, I don't have to remember all this, do I? I'm just like, this is too much. Like I mean, this is going to ruin life. I'm not going to be able to live like this anymore. And he said, whatever. Yes, I can take this away from you, but you do have to remember the basic concepts. And I said, okay, and he said, but I'm going to take all of this away. But I need you to understand that that's what I'm doing for everybody all the time. I'm the only one who need hold that perspective, and having really any more of that perspective than you need makes living less fun. Living in a certain amount of mystery and surprise, but under the assumption that the universe is working out for you and God is working with you, is a recipe for success for all people. That doesn't mean that you won't always have things that blow up in your face sometimes to teach you a lesson or whatever, but you never lose sight of the idea that ultimately God's only ever trying to teach you and better you and make your life good. And that if you try too hard to get past certain surface level understanding and knowledge or whatever, ultimately you get to a place that you don't want to go. It's amazing to get little pieces of the puzzle and, little inspiration there and experience that. It's another thing to have it all in like a, been there, done that sort of attitude way. It all is and it all was, and what does it matter? Like, it does matter through God. Like God, I should say not really through God, but through us. As we make it matter, as we care, as we show up, as we love, as we feel good, that's what makes it matter. And it matters to God too, because that's God feeling experience through us. Like that makes God feel great. We're all little pieces of him, of the nothing. And when we're exuberant and filled with love and good things are happening for us, that's the vibes that God is looking for. And it experiences the world through us. It doesn't want to experience us suffering and pouting and being sad. It wants us to learn our strength, and it wants to experience its strength through us. And that's what I try to do every day here on Everything That I Want You to Know. I love you guys. I encourage you guys, everybody. I know you got something in your soul. Go out there and do it. You can do it. Something wonderful. If you need help, if you need guidance, JBS at blacklightdistrict.studio. My open-minded spiritual listeners, you guys are the people that I care about the most. We're all on the same team. We're all trying to make this world a better place. And I think we can do it, baby. I think we can do it. I think we can definitely do it. Anyway, I love you so much. I look forward to engaging with you more throughout the year. And I hope I'll see you next time, next Sunday, on another fucking mind-blowing episode of Everything They Don't Want You to Know. Cue music for the celebration, our new theme song. Let's go!
Here is a conspiracy theorist. I look around and just can't understand. Here is something perfectly clear that is an answer you cannot defend. Yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I couldn't be nearest to the truth. Hey, hey, we all are conspiracy theorists. Hey guys, how about you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here is a conspiracy theory. I take the red pill but can't comprehend. Here is something factually real, and injustice that must be avenged. Yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I couldn't be nearest to the truth. Hey, hey, we all are conspiracy theorists. Hey guys, how about you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. They created this term to shut us all up, 'cause when we all know, we'll all just stand up. Take back this world, pay for their sins, 'cause when we all love and when we all give, we all win.
Conspiracy theorists, we hope that you hear this. Conspiracy theorists, we hope that you hear this.
Follow the lies to the truth. Oh, follow the lies to the truth. Yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I couldn't be nearest to the truth. Hey, hey, we all are conspiracy theorists.